You deserved everything you got. This is a union city.
That is a Philadelphia tradition.
Seize the means of podcasting.
Oh, God, the boss has crushed us.
Let me tell you one thing else.
In oldie-timey times,
The pleasure of the flesh is in solidarity.
we will not raw dog reality for that one.
It's going to be wholly unprofessional.
The Scab Buster.
What have we become?
Keep together strong. Let that be your mantra.
My name is Sam James. I'm the co-host. And you are?
I'm Gabe Christie. I'm the hostka.
And today we are going to learn about...
The Apex Hosiery Strike of 1937.
What? That's it. What?
So, hosiery.
I understood the second part.
Yeah.
The one with the numbers.
Apex is a company.
Oh.
Or was a company.
Okay.
Was.
I was thinking like Apex Predator.
Yes.
Which is actually, maybe it's a good name for a company.
Yeah.
Because companies are predators, right?
Yeah, they were.
Well, we're starting off really strong with this one.
Apex was fairly predatory. So I guess we should start with some background.
Please.
There's this also. This has another fantastic union name.
I can't wait.
So, the hosiery is women's stockings, socks and whatnot. And it had been a pretty big industry in Philly for a while. Starting in the 1920s, there had been more and more drives to organize the hosiery workers. Most of them were younger women in like early to mid 20s, like a lot of the textile workers in Philly at the time.
And Philly was a big textile city,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Really starting in the 1700s. There was always a big textile industry there. And especially at this time, in like Fishtown and North Philly.
Okay.
So like North Broad into Fishtown and Kensington. There were a lot of textile mills and a lot of women working in textiles there. So during the Great Depression, there was an even bigger drive to start organizing them. And in the late 1920s and into the Great Depression, the American Federation of Full-Fashioned Hosiery Workers.
Give me a second. The AFO. Shit.
They abbreviated it to AFHW.
Oh, they already abbreviated it for me?
Yeah.
Oh, that takes out half the fun.
Yeah. But that's
So what's the
still
abbreviation?
AFHW, the AFHW.
Okay. AFW.
So
What?
the AFHW.
AFW.
So AFHW was the AFHW was like really militant. And what kept on and what kind of set them aside from a lot of the other unions at the time is this all started in the 1920s, when you had capital flight. So like you organize a factory, the owners shut it down, open up a factory in another state.
Yeah.
Organizers from that first factory would move to the new factory.
Wow.
And like chase down all of this. And so they were really dedicated to the cause.
Wow.
So then, and they combined all of that with this like really tight-knit working class feminist community that they built. So it wasn't just like the union exists in your workplace. It was also an educational organization. It was a social organization. They'd been publishing a newspaper since the 19-teens.
It's like a little club.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
And they were also doing a lot of education work. They worked closely, especially during the 1930s, they worked closely with the YWCA, which, if you remember back to Maggie Kuhn, that's what she got.
That was like a whole 2 episodes ago, so
Yeah.
I'm going to need to
That was-
recharge my brain for a second to think that long ago.
That was the group of like middle-class white ladies that were hanging out with a bunch of radical socialist workers. So these were like the radical socialist workers that were hanging out with middle-class white women.
All right.
So
such natural allies.
Yeah. So they were, they worked with the YWCA and other progressive feminist organizations, and they actually made a point of like pushing working class women more into the public spotlight. So they got women, or they got women strikers and picketers on the front page of Time magazine.
Oh.
And I think Life as well. And so they were trying to like make this kind of, or make a new image for the American woman.
Nice.
Which was freaking cool. So then moving through the 30s, a lot of the AFHW members helped with the founding of the CIO, the Congress of Industrial Organizations. Before the Apex strike, they organized the Berkshire Mills, which were in Reading, Pennsylvania. And we're going to do another episode on them because that was another really crazy organizing
I can't wait.
process. And the one little teaser you'll get from that was it was the strike there was really bad and was like state police and tear gas bad.
Oh,
so
I can't wait.
It's one of those. But Apex was very different. So Apex Hosiery was one of the largest hosiery companies in Philly. They had over 2,500 employees. The building was originally up at 5th and Luzerne Street, just like kind of between Broad and Kensington Fishtown.
Okay, I want to pretend like I know where that is.
Yeah. Kind of north central Philly. It's now the building got turned into the Roberto Clemente High School.
Okay.
Which then got demolished and is now the Roberto Clemente Homes, I think. It's an apartment building.
I like that they kept the name though.
Yeah.
The baseball player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't he from South America, Roberto Clemente?
I think so, but I think he played on the Phils.
Did he play in the Phils? I thought he played like in Pittsburgh or something.
I probably should have looked that up.
I mean, this isn't a sports podcast, but I mean, like, this is going to be on my mind.
Yep. All right.
I think So,
Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure that there's some important connection between him and the Philadelphia School District that I didn't look up.
Okay.
So,
well, you obviously have failed.
I did.
So that's one strike against you.
It's because I hate our listeners. So,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to keep that in, or you want me to cut that one out, Gabe?
No, you should keep that in.
All right, I'm gonna keep
they
it
should
in.
know.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any like angry emails yet. So
no. So, and the building itself was, I think, 6 or 7 stories tall, and surrounded completely by like 2- and 3-story row homes. So, 'cause I just wanted to paint that picture there of like this giant friggin' plant surrounded by all of the working class homes of the people that worked in it.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Yeah.
I was like, are we doing we moved from a labor history to a sports to an architecture podcast?
It was an ugly ass building. It was just a giant square block. And its owner, William Myers,
Willie, good old Willie,
was somewhat unique. He was really, really anti-union, which wasn't unique at all.
Yeah.
But also really stubborn and didn't move the plant to the south, which like all of the other hosiery companies were doing.
Okay.
Because the South was mostly not union.
I mean, that isn't really. Well, I guess that is a little unique. But I mean,
Yeah. Well, the fact.
I mean,
that
if
he
you were
stayed,
like a good person,
yeah.
That wouldn't be unique. That'd be exactly what you would do. So,
but he was the CEO, so it's very unique.
yes.
So, by 1937, Apex was not only the largest plant in Philly that wasn't organized, it was the only one left.
The only hosiery plant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, literally the whole rest of the hosiery industry in Philly was organized.
Packed up and moved. Oh, they were, okay, the unionized. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, it kind of, it stood out as like a real big fucking target for them.
Circle those wagons.
Myers had used a team of lawyers and connections within city government to keep a permanent injunction against the union. And he also maintained a spy network.
I think it goes without saying.
Well, yeah, among his coworkers to warn him, or not among his coworkers, among his employees, to warn him of any organizing threats.
Oh, within the staff?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so he had labor spies in his plant.
Lovely.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Well, I mean, some of those. I mean, were they spies specifically put in, or did he like turn the people who were already working there?
That I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Yeah, because then
it's probably a mix.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if if they promise these employees more pay or something like that. To be pretty much internal scabs, so to speak, or
yeah. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he hired a private detective agency to just like pose as workers.
They don't do that anymore, though.
No, definitely not.
No company does that. Nope.
Certainly not. Which is why Pinkertons went bankrupt. So in the spring of 37, there was a whole string of sit-down strikes all around the city. And this was when they did like the final organizing push around Philly to organize all of the smaller hosiery plants, and that left Apex as the last one standing. So in that like string of sit-down strikes, they also used some pretty awesome tactics. So these sit-down strikes weren't just the workers in the plants. It was usually like huge throngs of people coming in, because they were working pretty closely with the CIO. So it wouldn't just be like 200 workers in this factory. It would be 2,000 workers from 40 different factories all coming in.
Wow.
So at the Antcraft mill, they had a column of 1,000 workers smash down the front doors.
Okay.
And just like march into the plant and take over.
Yeah.
So that's what the spring of 37 was like for hosiery plants. And the really surprising part is that the Philly police weren't like smashing heads. And that's mostly because the president of the AFHW, William Leader, had donated money to Mayor Samuel Wilson's election campaign. And he basically like bought off the mayor. So the police weren't necessarily handling the strikers with like kid gloves, but they also weren't actively trying to kill them.
That's what it takes. Just it's money.
Yeah.
All right, we got to buy off the mayor.
Yeah. So for all of the people that say electoralism doesn't do anything, buying politicians can help you organize.
That's one thing that you get from this podcast today. It's that we need to buy off politicians.
Yep.
That has worked.
Apparently.
Honestly, it does.
Yeah.
For the good or the bad.
The Apex plant itself by late April of 37 was really tense because they knew that it was coming.
Yeah.
They knew something was going to happen. And on April 29th, a demonstration marched to the mill. So that first demonstration wasn't that big. It was probably like around 1,000 people. And that continued to grow as they agitated in front, or out front of the mill. And then I think by that Friday, or by the next Friday, they had a crowd of about 5,000.
5,000.
Around the building. There was also a member of the U.S. Army intelligence observing all of this.
Okay.
Because he had apparently, the Army intelligence had been following AFHW throughout all of this. Because
Just observing?
yeah, just reporting on what was going on.
Okay.
Because they were worried about like a potential revolution coming.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't know what, like, I thought they were just like a fact-finding mission, you know?
Yeah.
They had nothing better to do. They needed an article for Stars and Stripes.
Yeah. So the estimates from the Union and police are around 5,000 people. The Army intelligence said a like massive army of 10,000.
Oh, God. Damn
Yeah. So, however big that mob was,
And they had pitchforks.
Yeah.
And
every one of them was carrying a guillotine.
oh, Jesus God.
Leave
it to Army intelligence.
Yeah. So anyway,
What an oxymoron.
yeah, that group of about 5,000 workers probably.
There's probably 5 people.
Yeah, yeah, it's just them and a bunch of cardboard cutouts.
That's what it was. It's what they do at sports game during COVID. They just all the cardboard cutouts. You pay $5 and you get your cardboard cutout at a rally.
Yeah.
At a strike.
Then so they overwhelmed the police and pushed past the barricades.
I mean, there were 5 million of them.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't that hard.
Literally the entire city of Philadelphia marched on this plant. And by noon, the crowd had gotten so thick outside that they couldn't get streetcar traffic through. So
They were just eating a lot?
yeah.
I'm totally unappreciated in my time.
So the demonstrators started breaking the windows or pushing them open and climbing inside. And then they rushed the main gate, pushed it open, pushed past the police that were still there, pushed the front doors open, and basically ran into the offices, and evicted both the plant manager, Harry Strube, and the owner, William Meyer.
Oh, Willie, no.
Yeah. And the interviews from the strikers were describing it, it was being described more as a takeover than a union vote.
Okay.
And like
they were like interviewing people during the thing?
No, these are, so actually that's a good point. A lot of this information comes from the book, Silk Stockings and Socialism, which is a fantastic book.
I like the name.
Yeah. But it's about, organizing in the hosiery, mills around Philly in the 20s and 30s. And so you can get a much more thorough explanation of this strike and others in that book. So you should all go out and order it.
Off of Amazon.
Preferably not, but I think Haymarket has it. I should have.
Kmart?
Haymarket.
Oh, Haymarket. I was like, I don't think that exists anymore. One store tried to unionize Kmart, and they were just like, fuck it. We're closing them all down.
Yeah, and one of the workers described it as the storming of the Bastille. So they kind of had a revolutionary mindset going into it. And they basically took over the whole building. 250 strikers like set up shop in the mill or started living there for the sit down strike. And
one thing I noticed with this sit-down strike is they're not doing a lot of sitting down.
no, well, once the actual sit-down strike started, then they did.
Okay.
Theoretically.
All right.
Because they were...
So now it's a sit-down strike.
Yes.
Okay. What was it before that?
Yeah,
you don't have an
really
answer to that,
hostile...
motherfucker.
It was the storming of the Bastille.
Okay.
It was a hostile takeover.
Well, I got to figure out, what are we going to name this one? Is it going to be the sit-down strike? Is it going to be the Apex Predator strike of... Apex Predator strike actually sounds like what we've been doing in Afghanistan for the last 20 years.
Well, Army intelligence was involved.
Oh, that's true. That is very much true. They're good at one thing.
Yeah.
It's killing Afghani farmers.
Oh, God. Now we're going to have the Pinkertons and the FBI calling us.
Bring it.
Yeah. 250 strikers, moved in, and they organized a band.
That Fife and Drums band's going to come back.
They put on shows. They had food getting delivered. There were continued demonstrations out front. They had a sign they made a bunch of banners and just hung them out the windows. The best one I saw was they had a picture of a rat with it was CIO exterminators. Was the label underneath of it.
They were using the rat that long ago?
Oh yeah.
Wow. You always see the blow up rat.
Yeah. I don't know if if they had specifically named it Scabby the Rat yet, but they were definitely calling Scabs rats. Yeah. They occupied it for a month, and during that time, Meyer was losing his friggin' mind. Tried an eviction order, multiple lawsuits, tried to use his injunction, or use the anti-union injunction to get them all kicked out.
When he could have just paid the mayor-elect off.
Yeah. And then finally sat down and started negotiating with William Leader, who was the union president.
Wait a minute. The leader of the union was...
William Leader.
Leader?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Please continue.
In writing out this script, I had to very specifically say Union President William Leader.
I appreciate you giving me that, though.
Yeah. So Leader agreed to have the sit-down strikers vacate as a show of good faith. And be like, I'm willing to negotiate now.
Qualities of a good leader.
Yeah, exactly. So he...
And a good leader.
Yeah. Leader and Mayor Wilson went...
Re-elect Mayor Wilson.
Mm-hmm. He died in 1938, but...
it was a Back to the Future joke.
Oh.
It's for those who understand pop culture. Not everything's directed towards you, okay? We have listeners who have watched a movie in the past 30 years.
I've already established I hate our listeners. So so Leader and Wilson went into the plant and walked out with the 250 sit-down strikers to the cheers of a 15,000 person strong crowd.
50 million.
Yeah.
Strong crowd.
The whole of the United States was there. So while the negotiations continued after the sit-down strike, they maintained a 3,000 person strong picket in front of the plant.
Okay.
So the sit-down strike had ended, but there was still no work getting done at Apex. So finally they reached an agreement in July and got Mayor or the Apex recognized the union. One other thing to note, while while the strike was going on and throughout the whole thing, or throughout all of the demonstrations, you had especially the younger women within the AFHW were making a point of going out and looking their best and like trying to redefine what American feminism was.
Okay.
That, because the kind of got started in the 20s and even earlier within the labor movement. But you still had this like kind of ideal of the modest American housewife who she might have a job, but that's only to support her until she finds a good husband, and then she'll settle down. And they were trying to redefine that and be like, no, we're going to go out and fuck up the boss's day, and we're going to look really good doing it. So they were, if you're looking at the pictures of all of the women demonstrating, all of their hair is perfectly set. Everyone's dressed up nicely and very fashionably.
Because it would be too easy to be like go out there and like make yourself all ragged and all that, but like make yourself quote unquote proper. Yeah, and be like, hey, we can be proper and we can be fucking badasses too at the same time. Yeah, you probably and it gives the opposition less ammunition against them as well. I think it's like these look at these ragged women. Yeah, and then you can just use that against them. Yeah, no, it was. It's like, these are upstanding women in our society, and they feel that this is an outrage, so maybe I should as well.
Yeah. And it also having the juxtaposition of a like very fashionably dressed early 20-somethings woman out on a picket line was really good fodder for newspapers and magazines and whatnot. Sure. So they knew how to play their image well. They went back to work after getting recognition in the summer of 37. By 38, they had won a closed shop contract. And then after that, basically 100% of hosiery production in Philly was organized. Wow. But the story continues and actually gets even better. Really? Wow. So there were 2 court cases that came out of it. There are 2 important ones.
Like the Welsh accent, it goes up in the end. Yeah. That's a callback to... We stopped doing callbacks a while ago. But we're bringing them back.
So, first one, the union paid out $110,000 to Myers for damaged equipment. Because apparently someone broke some of the mills. Or the weaving machines. And the union... The union pretty explicitly said, like, we don't condone that. We don't know who did it. All right. We'll pay you for it, but it wasn't us. All right. Then the other, even cooler one, Apex tried to use the Sherman Antitrust Act to sue for damages, claiming that the union's activity constituted an illegal combination or monopoly. What
a turnaround of the law.
Yeah. Well, it was actually really common to use the Sherman Act to union bust. Wow. Because it was basically, they claimed it was unfair market manipulation. So they did that a lot up until 1940, when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the union, which basically created precedent that still stands to this day, that you can't use the Sherman Antitrust Act to union bust. Wow. Basically, the court just ruled that, like, no, you're not creating unfair market manipulation, because
that is strange.
That's not how the labor market works. So that was the Apex hosiery strike of 1937. You had some really badass women fucking shit up for the spring and summer of 37.
I think maybe the sit-down strike needs a new definition. I don't think maybe that was exactly on point, but...
there was a month of sit-down striking.
I guess so. Well, they stood up to go to the bathroom a little while, a couple times. Well, a month, you know what I mean? So,
I forget what I was going to say.
It was probably summed up. The FWA.
The American Federation of Full-Fashioned Hosiery Workers. It's a great name.
It's almost as good as silky smooth silk stockings and socialism. That was a catchier, Dave.
Silky smooth silk stockings and socialism.
The Roberto Clemente silk stockings at Hosiery Corporation.
Yeah, so I'll put
He used to wear silk stockings before every game, you know that, right? It was his good luck charm, yeah.
Maybe that's the connection.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I'm just making the shit up on the spot.
Okay.
I gotta make some kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. We're gonna say that that's true. So, that's the connection.
Okay, fine.
Yep. It's fact now.
You gotta stop banging the table.
Oh,
it's really
yeah.
loud on the microphone. Okay. You really do hate our listeners, don't you?
I do. I really do.
Okay, well, we can agree that Apex is for the wrong reasons, a great name for a corporation.
I'd say it's a great name for the right reasons.
For the right reasons?
Because they are all predatory.
Well, no. I mean, for the wrong reasons in the right way, or the right reasons in the wrong way.
Yes.
Do we need to split hairs about this?
Yes. No.
No.
Maybe.
What? We need something to talk about at the end of these episodes. If we don't make it to the 40-minute mark, we don't get the money.
That's what the Pinkertons told us. So.
Okay. Shh. That paper bag that I discreetly handed to you 10 minutes ago was just supposed to shut you up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but go find a union that's on strike and support them, because it's going to get cold and they need it and they need the help.
And then tell them they're violating the antitrust laws.
They're not. That the precedent was set in the 40s.
I know, Gabe. It was kind of just like, it was a joke.
Oh, okay. Hey, this is Gabe, and thanks for listening to the Labor Jawn podcast. So for now, we live in a system called capitalism. And under this system, you have to exchange currency for goods and or services. And to that end, Sam and I put a lot of time, effort, and a fair chunk of our own money into keeping this podcast available and generally free. And if you'd like to help support us doing that, you can give us some money at patreon.com/laborjawn. And if you choose to do so, we'll give you a fancy button every year, some cool merch, and an extra episode once a month, whenever possible, because life is hard, because capitalism. Anyway, we'd really appreciate your support if you've got a few bucks to spare. Also, if you happen to be a member of a union, and you want your fellow union members to learn about local labor history, we do commission work, like presentations, pamphlets, that kind of stuff. So if that sounds cool, you can shoot us an email at laborjawn@gmail.com, or contact us through laborjawn.com, or message us on social media, or whatever's most convenient for you. But if that sounds interesting, feel free to reach out. And anyway, thanks for listening. Solidarity. Have fun.